everyone. Oh, it's been a while since we've heard from Ali. Goodness me. Asian pronouns, Ali.
Asian pronouns 21, he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Men are not protectors and body count doesn't matter.
Okay, which one?
Let's talk about men are not protectors. Let's do that.
Okay.
Um, I feel like anyone can be a protector, a man or a woman. I just feel like men are better suited on a physiological level to fulfill that role since we have more muscle mass, more strength, yada yada yada. Well, I do think that men can abuse that and become bad people. You feel me? And women can step up to the role of being a protector. I just feel like men are just better suited for it.
So it's not really rooting anything factual just by saying I feel, because we can see how men also use that so-called strength, to uphold harm. So that doesn't make you a better protector just because you might have more physical strength than someone else.
No, like, what does a protector mean? Keeping someone safe. You can keep someone safe better if you have more strength. I'm not saying that a woman can't keep someone safe. I'm just saying that,
So when
uh,
we have the rise of online AI, sort of schmexual explicit content and things that women, girls, and femme people are suffering, what type of ways does that physical strength make someone a better protector on the online
I'm not
space?
saying, oh, well, we would both agree that men and more women have the same rationality, yeah? Like, we both cognate on the same level. You feel me? So,
Everyone's different.
intellectually,
Everyone's different.
intellectually,
How does the physical strength show up to be a protector from someone who is experiencing online harm?
Um, well, I don't think that's really a factor, but I feel like being a protector, he should be able to protect people in a wide array of scenarios, you feel me?
But a woman would do
And
the same thing. So again, how you're owning in on physicality. That's your main
yeah,
point.
because that's what we have above women, I guess, you feel me?
Again, that's not always true.
Yeah, that's not always true, but we're more, I'm saying like a man could fail to reach that level
Yeah, but
and
that's
become like a,
but all I'm going to do is respond the same way with regards to the harm that men uphold as well.
brother, I'm saying there's a protector role. Men and women can both fulfill it. Just men are better at fulfilling it because we're stronger.
That
And
doesn't
being a protector, you would
being stronger does not make you a better protector.
yes it
Like
does.
no, it doesn't, because men use that so-called strength to cause disproportionate
That's not
harm.
what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying men
No,
are
that's not what
only
you're saying, but
protectors.
you're ignoring the point I'm saying. You can't, like,
No,
you're going to ignore it as a rebuttal. We're not having a conversation here. You're just repeating the
no,
same thing.
I hear you, but that's not what I'm saying that not all men are protectors. I'm saying that if a man wants to be a protector, he can be a protector,
That's the
but
same
he's
as a
not
woman.
inherently a same as a woman. Yeah,
So then it's not
uh,
men that are protectors, then, are they? It's not like
but
the phrase has always been men are the protectors. That's the traditional role of a man, to be a protector and a provider. That's what it's always been. But they're not. So why are we still holding on to that? Why are men still striving towards wanting to achieve or be that when they're not the protectors? Men are the ones who
okay,
cause for disproportionate harm. So
okay.
if you give me an example of one situation where men are using their physicality to protect, where a man is not causing the harm in the first place, that would be great.
Yeah, I can type of some scenarios, but I feel like that's a little bit redundant.
No, that's
What?
literally the point, is that if you're saying men's protection is only dependent on men causing harm, then that's not men being protectors. That's men creating issues. That's men
I
creating
mean,
problems.
there's probably a scenario out there where a woman was creating harm and a male protected the woman, but brother, listen. All I'm saying is, for the protector role, men are just best suited at it. Women can also
Saying it
fulfill
is
it.
not going to change anyone's mind. You're not giving anything factual. You're just saying how you feel. You're not bringing any evidence. You're not bringing anything that
Okay,
actually
so
backs up.
so listen, being a protector, yeah, you would want to be able to protect people in a wide array of scenarios. The more scenarios where you are better at protecting, the more well of a protector you are. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we men and women both have the same amount of intellect,
You're
so
saying
that
a
we will
lot, but
both
not really
be.
saying anything specific.
Okay, yeah, let me get to it. Men and women have the same amount of intellect, yeah. So like on an intellectual challenge or problem, a male or a woman can fulfill that role easy. But on a physical challenge, males are just, would
So
be
back to
better
physical.
suited. Say what?
So back to physical again.
Yeah, we're back to physical, yeah.
So again, give me an example of men protecting in a physical capacity where men are not the ones causing the harm.
Why does it have to be men not causing the harm?
Because if you're only fulfilling the role as a protector on the basis that men cause harm, you are benefiting off of men being violent.
How am I benefiting exactly?
Because you get to call yourself a protector as a man because men are causing harm. That works in your favor. If you can go up to a woman on a date and she's like, "What can you offer me in a relationship?" and you can go, "I'll protect you." It's like, protector from what?
From other men.
Examples you're gonna exactly. So my point is, you're benefiting by saying that off of men being violent.
Well, it's more like a sacrifice. I don't really want to do
You haven't
that shit,
sacrificed
but it's
anything. You haven't sacrificed anything. What have you
what?
sacrificed?
Like sacrifice yourself in a confrontation type of thing. Like I don't want to be in that confrontation, but I'm doing that shit. You feel me?
That's not sacrificing.
I'm sacrificing my peace type shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Um. Yeah. Just like for example, yeah, there's a dog, and there's a bunch of rabid dogs, and that dog is protecting you. That dog is fulfilling the role of protecting you, while its same species are the ones that is protecting you from. That doesn't mean that the dog isn't a protector. You feel me? What do you mean? Like pretend this is an alternate universe where there's just dogs everywhere and they're
No,
all
because
biting humans.
that's like me saying pretend there's a universe where there's no men. Now who's harming
It,
women?
it's a way to demonstrate,
And I'm doing the same
uh,
then. I'm demonstrating my point, right? You wouldn't like women wouldn't need a man to be a protector, quote unquote, if men weren't causing harm in the first place. You're not looking at the root problem. You're looking at the aftermath. You're looking at what happens after the harm is being caused. I can protect you from it, again, only if men are causing harm. So if there were no men causing harm, how would you be protecting your partner?
like from bears and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, the bears that are just kind of roaming the streets every day wherever we look.
Yeah, like
And
there might be some
you're
physical
gonna go up
challenges here,
to
but
a bear. You're gonna go up to a bear and fight a bear off, aren't you?
yeah, I always wanted to do that shit. You feel me?
Come back when you want to take it a bit more seriously, Ali. Okay?
I'm serious.
I don't think you are. Hanny, can you let me know if you're a man that disagrees? I feel like you do with your bio, but I don't know if you're a man that disagrees. R. Porter, you haven't given me anything that says why body count matters, so you're probably just sitting with your misogyny or insecurities. Body count does not matter. Oh, if I've sent someone a random invitation, it was an accident. Moolah, where's the hate for men? Where are you seeing the hate? I'm not seeing any. Or was it you, Connie? Connie! Hanny Pack, I still haven't had a message from you in the chat letting me know if you're a man that disagrees. So I'm going to reject the request just for now. Summer, no, it doesn't. Are you a man that disagrees, Summer? It's not proven. Report, you haven't proven anything. There's nothing out there that says anything. Summer, I asked if you're a man that disagrees, and you haven't responded. Difficulty bonding, there's no such thing as pair bonding between humans. So again, talking nonsense. Summer, are you a man that disagrees? I'm still waiting in the chat for you to confirm. Raccoon, it doesn't matter because it doesn't tell you anything factual about who a person is. Anything that you think it does tell you is just assumptions and projections and opinions operating from an insecure or misogynistic standpoint. Jay, age and pronouns, please.
Can I ask? She, her.
Nope. Banana, age and pronouns, please. No, HJP8. Are you interested?
Yo,
Hello, age and pronouns, please.
my pronouns are he, him, and I'm with my lesbian friend right now.
Just want your age. Okay. Ooh, we've got chat starting to get busy. Six fully disagree. I mean, find me something women are collectively doing that you think men can hold women accountable for. Yeah. Banana, can you put your age in the chat, please? Lacey, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Raccoon, if you want to come up and talk about some of the prompts, that's absolutely fine. So, Fela, individually, we are then not calling, out gender. We're calling out like an individual's behavior. Anyone can call anyone out for something like that. But collectively, that's not what we're seeing from women. Women not doing anything that's disproportionately harming men. So when men always say like women need to be held accountable, it's like, sorry, what for specifically? Because it just sounds like you want to, not you, but those men want to deflect or want to avoid accountability from themselves. Summer, I still haven't heard in the chat or seen, a message from you telling me whether you're a man that disagrees. Domestic abuse, still technically men do it more. Brock, don't ever come back. Goodbye. Sums, if you're going to keep spamming, then no. But I'm looking for men who disagree. So Sums, let me know in the chat if you're a man that disagrees, please. Yeah, pretty much. That's not difficult to prove all the points on the screen. Tupac, never come back again. Goodbye. We don't tolerate racism here. I disagree, body count matters. Okay, but that's either misogyny or internalized misogyny, depending on whether you're a man or woman, and also insecurities. 9, age, and pronouns, please.
Hello.
Hiya.
How you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Age and pronouns, please.
My name is Dwight. I'm 26, and my pronouns are he,
Thank
him,
you.
I guess.
Yeah, which prompt do you disagree with?
Pretty much all of them. I think before I engage in why I disagree, it's worthwhile kind of asking you some questions, if you don't mind.
Sure. Is it based on one of the prompts?
It's based on all of the prompts, that being, what is your motivation in this? As in, why are you advocating that men are misogynistic, etc.? Is this something you're trying to change, or have you
Okay.
experienced that?
It's unpacking men's misogyny. It's getting men to recognize how they uphold the patriarchal system that oppresses women, girls, femme-presenting people.
Okay, where does that come from? Sorry, where does that come from?
Patriarchy.
Sorry about that. Can you say that again?
Patriarchy.
Yeah, like explain in your, let's say, Weltanschauung, your perspective, what you identify as misogyny, as patriarchy. Would you say that the whole system that we live in is simply that? Because, as much as it is patriarchal, men are responsible for most of the things, like the fact that we're on TikTok right now was done by men.
Do you know that everything about, like, I mean, the fact that women contributed, as we know, to Wi-Fi and everything, like, not everything has been literally
Yeah,
done.
of course. I know the woman personally, actually, that was directly responsible for creating the VoIP software responsible
Let's not
for
eradicate how women
this.
have not even contributed to anything like using phones or technology or internet in society, then, right?
Yeah, of course, but regardless of that, if you was to put that into a metric, obviously I'm making this up, but I doubt the metric would supersede anything above 20% in comparison to what men have done. That's not to say that it should be disregarded in any sort of way. No, I'm simply questioning you to understand how you perceive things in terms of the misogyny that is apparent, because perhaps maybe I'm not seeing something. That's why I'm asking you, for example, like, why would you say that the patriarchal society that we're in right now still dominates women? I'll kind of elaborate if you allow me to. I know I'm digressing a little bit, but in Scandinavia, maybe in the last 10 years, they sort of had this similar discourse where they were claiming, men are misogynistic to the point that it was raised in their sort of political standings, parliament, and they mandated that it become an egalitarian society, meaning that across the board in all the businesses, companies, or endeavors that equate to any monetary value, that you have to have 50% not only representation, but 50% power has to be attributed to women. And over the course of, let's say the 5 years up until now, Scandinavia in the world is the country with the biggest differences between men and women economically and in work. More women in Scandinavia are doing the roles that misogynistic men would say women can only do. That being roles of, being a midwife, maternity. Virtually no women in Scandinavia are in STEM field jobs. None of them are picking up maths. None of them are doing anything like this. And
But
that
like,
leads me to conclude that, oh, sorry.
this could go on for a very long time if like, it's no disrespect, but like, it is coming away from the purpose of this live, which is men that disagree with the prompts. So
Yeah,
I'm happy to talk about how patriarchy contributes to these,
yeah.
but there's other people who also do want to join, and I'm happy to listen to you, but I haven't got like that extensive amount of time, because otherwise we're going to be talking about history for a long
No,
time.
I'm not talking about history. I just wanted to understand. I can tell you why I disagree, for example, like with
Yeah,
why
so,
body count doesn't matter.
so
I can address that,
I'll
for
be back in a
example.
second. I can hear you. I'll be back in a second, but tell me why body count bothers you about all of them.
Okay. I'll just wait for you to.
I can still hear you. I just needed to do something. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, I think body count does matter. I can only speak for myself because why not? I find that in relationships as a man, I am territorial is the wrong word, but I do not want to entertain fantasies of my wife or whoever I am with someone else. Therefore, if my wife's body count is high, that means her past has now become my present, and that is something I can't deal with.
So your insecurity stops you from being able to connect with her.
You can't say it's insecurity because there's nothing to be insecure about. It's not like I'm thinking, oh, what was she doing? No, it's more necessarily a case of if my wife was with someone, I can entertain that. I'm not like
Hold on, what are you entertaining? That's in the past. So your relationship that you build with this individual way before you're even married, you are connecting and dating each other and getting to know each other right now. So
yeah,
why are you bringing in her past partners when she's not even thinking about them?
because it's indicative of her in the present.
No, it's not. That's an assumption.
It's not an assumption.
It
It
is.
is
You're
the
assuming that she is going to be a certain way today because of having schmecks before.
no, I'm assuming that she has had a past which has led her to the present.
So assuming, that's what I mean. So you're assuming that her experiences has led her to be someone that you can't connect with.
But that's not an assumption, that's fact. Everything you have been through has led you to where you are now. You
Yeah, but
can't
it
say
doesn't.
that's not
Hold on,
that's an
hold on, hold on.
assumption.
Can you give me 3 things you would look for in a relationship that leads you to believe that you could have a successful one with a partner? Like, name me 3 things you look for.
3 things I look for. I don't really look for anything. I seek internal validation. I don't really look for anything. But to let's say satisfy your answer, I could say, I don't know, I look for someone that seeks their own internal validation as opposed to externally. I look for nothing else other than the person being themselves for who they are.
Perfect. So they can be themselves,
Yeah.
and whatever those characteristics are that you connect with can be in someone who has a high or low body count. That's not going to change like whether or not you actually connect with them. So if you met a woman and she didn't tell you her body count, you could quite easily connect with someone because that's who they are in front of you.
Up until she tells me her body count. Most definitely.
So that again, if you connected with her not knowing her body count, and you finding out her body count now changes that, that's a you issue. Something that's triggered within you that's made you see her differently than what you already connected with. You suddenly think the body count has changed her, but you got to know her authentically and connected with her, and actually you could have been in a relationship with her. So you were happy with who you knew, then you find out a number and now she's an entirely different person. Nothing's changed, just a number.
Indeed. It would
That
only
doesn't-
change. Sorry, I'll explain if you want me to explain.
Yeah, it
I
just
think
doesn't
for
make sense.
me, the only thing that changes is whether I can be in a relationship with you or not. But that's
What would you
personal.
be able to? I know it's personal, and I said that to you earlier. That's your insecurity because you think that
But
number.
then this is where I disagree with you, right? I'm understanding what you're saying, and I think insecurity is a term that you would obviously use. However, I don't think that's insecurity. I'm perfectly secure within myself.
So then
I'm
what
trying
is
to
it?
explain to you from my own perspective how I view the situation. It has nothing to do with
insecurity.
Sorry.
What is it if it's not insecurity? There's something that's come up for you that's led you to go, I now can't be with you because I found out your body count is a number that I'm not comfortable with.
I can give you multiple answers of why it is not insecurity.
Just give
One
me-
of those
No, I
answers.
I don't want examples of why it's not that. I want you to tell me what it is.
Okay, I'm gonna try explain to you what it is. For me, anyways, one of the reasons why I do so is based on culture. In my culture, that is not acceptable. I grew up in a culture wherein a woman was expected, and obviously these are expectations made by patriarchal men, let's say you would say, where women are expected to follow a certain mode of being, as are the men that they are with. 1. 2, again, for me, being me, an individual where I can exert my free will and do what I want, I have chosen that I do not want a woman that has a high body count. I don't think that's necessarily insecurity or anything.
You need to
Pardon?
give reasons why you've made that choice. Why is that an issue for you?
I just simply think it is.
No, like there's a reason. Otherwise, you'd be okay with someone who has a high body count. So it's the why that we need to hear. Why have you made that choice? What's the issue?
If I had to really think why I have made that as a decision, the only answer that genuinely comes to mind is the fact that because I have made that as a decision. There is no other reason other than that.
You don't come to a decision for no reason. Like you do things for a reason. That's why I'm saying you have come to a decision at some point in your life that you don't want to be with someone with a high body count because there's a reason why you've chosen to have that. You don't just like say, I'm going to do it. And if someone goes, why? You go, because otherwise I could say, well, then you can be with someone with a high body count because, same
No,
thing.
that doesn't. That's a fallacy. That means the way you're thinking
No,
about
it's
things
not.
is
That's not what a fallacy
that is a
No.
fallacy. That's a false equivocation.
It's
It
not. It's
doesn't
the
make
opposite
sense.
effect. It's the
It's
opposite
not.
effect. If you're
It's not.
saying
I understand in some ways. I'm giving you a fallacy in how I'm answering the
that's what I'm
question
saying. Like,
because
so
I'm
if
giving
add
you a
up,
circular definition. However, your retort to what I'm saying is also a circular definition. I'm just saying to you that in relation, because look, the previous answer I gave you was unsatisfactory. You asked me, why do you think that a body count? And I said, because I will not allow someone's present to be my past. You said, therefore, that means you're insecure. I do not think that is the case because I have nothing to be insecure about. I'm rich. I'm a rich nigga. I'm tall. You get me, and I make money. There's nothing for me to be insecure about. However, I still feel that way if I am with a woman. I've been on countless dates,
So
right?
hold on. No, we're getting somewhere. You said you feel that way.
Yeah, I
What's
feel
the
that.
feeling?
The feeling is that I will not allow someone's past to be my present.
That's not a feeling.
That
How
that
do
is
you?
a feeling.
That's
You-
not a feeling. That's a
that's-
boundary or a standard that men hide behind. What's the feeling that you feel when a woman tells you her body count is high?
I feel like, oh, this is a great friendship.
No, again, that's not a feeling.
So what? Give me an example of a feeling that a
Do you
man
feel
makes.
angry? Do you feel disgusted? Do you
I do not feel
jealous?
angry at all.
So
I do
what
not
do you
feel
feel?
any sense of disgust.
But you said it's a feeling, so I'm going to push for that feeling to be identified, aren't I?
And
So
I'm trying to help you help me identify that feeling. How about that? I'm
Right.
completely open to this. And I'm telling you that the feeling is an observation. I am completely internally validated. So I do
I don't know
not.
if you can read them, but here's
Yes.
some feelings for you. All right?
Oh, nice. Happy,
So start with the
disgusted,
middle and think which ones you might, you know.
fearful. What's the red one, sorry?
So you've got angry, sad, surprised, happy, disgusted, fearful.
Happy. I'd say I'll put it in the happy category.
Do you feel happy when a woman tells you she's got a high body count?
Yes.
Right. But so you feel happy that you wouldn't want to be with her?
I feel happy that I'm not wasting time. Yes.
What?
Like if someone tells me they have a high body count, I am not.
About how you feel about a woman's body count.
I
not
know. I'm trying to, and again, clearly we are at a crossroads where we can't identify how I feel. So I'm trying to help you help me. And I'm saying that out of all of those emotions that you have shown me, the closest one to how I would describe feeling is happy. It can't be angry because I don't feel that. It can't be sadness. It can't be surprise. I'm hardly ever surprised. And it can't be fearful because I'm not scared. It is more akin to happiness because I don't think I've ever been told someone's body count and have shown some sort of dismay. It's always been met with me being pleasant.
Have you got a fear of something like heights or spiders or anything? Like, do you actually have any fears?
I don't think so. I have the fear of God, but I wouldn't describe that as fear per se.
Okay, so you know how someone might have a fear of heights?
Yeah.
Do you think they'd feel happy if I said to them, go and climb the ladder?
No, I don't think they would
Okay,
feel happy.
So that's the point I'm getting at, right? Is they would feel happy about going away from the ladder, which is what you're saying, but the information of being faced with something that you don't like, what's the feeling? You're giving the feeling of walking away from it. I'm saying you've met a woman who on paper is everything you're looking for. You get on with her, she's got similar interests, really funny, down to earth, all of the things you could look for, right? And you're getting excited about maybe being with this person. And then she tells you her body count. You're not going to feel happy about that just because you're now walking away, because originally you felt a certain way towards her and hoped it would work. So I'm saying, what's the feeling of finding that information out now when you were already getting to know her and things were going really well?
And I think the feeling is akin to gladness. Although I understand what you're saying, to me, and I don't know why it's like you don't want to accept this as my answer. I am glad. It's not necessarily about the walking away aspect, because I'll give you an example,
With the
right?
greatest respect, if you
Yes.
are excited already about getting to know someone, you've got your
Yes.
hopes up and you're feeling positive.
But I don't. This is the thing you're missing. I do not seek external validation. I am internally validated. I'll tell you what that means. That means whether I am with someone or not, my excitement is not raising or lowering. Only I can generate excitement
You're
in
saying
myself.
you're saying when you're around people, you can never have your feelings enhanced by the way that other people behave around you.
Absolutely not.
But you're,
I enhance my own feelings.
so you're numb to all emotions that other people have around you, basically.
Not numb, but I can pick and choose. I choose when I allow anything to
But you're
affect
saying
me.
you can choose feelings.
not choose feelings. You're taking what I'm saying out of context. Listen to what I'm saying. I will repeat it. I am internally validated. I do not seek external validation. Do you know what that means? That means when I am speaking to someone or I'm getting to know someone, there is nothing they can do, say that is going to make me feel any way different than how I already feel.
So
So that
essentially,
means when I'm speaking to a woman, for example, I'll give you an actual real world example. I was on a date maybe like a week ago with this girl. She was a very nice girl. We've been speaking for quite a while. In what you're saying, like, oh, I was excited in speaking to her. Yeah, cool. In me meeting her, she told me her body count was higher than maybe like 8. We're friends, and that's all we're ever going to be. There
so
was no
nothing
point in her
you.
telling me her body
Hold
count.
on.
Did I feel like, oh no, I should leave now? Was I angry or anything like that? We
So
continue
you're
the rest of
telling
the night.
me, essentially, what you're telling me is, forget about body count even for a second, but essentially, what you're telling me is that you would date any woman in the world.
Essentially, if I wanted to, I always say that to my friends, and they always make a joke out of me. I always say to my friends, I could make pardon my language, I could make a hoe a housewife, and I could
But again, you would pretty much then date absolutely anyone.
if I wanted to. I could, obviously, but you could do the same. Unlike a lot of people, this is what people don't kind of understand. I feel like a lot of people need to appreciate the act of being of service than rather being serviced, because that attitude allows you to understand your own platitudes more so than looking outwardly. That's why when I say body count does matter, I can say that. Why? Because that is my choice.
Do you mind me asking if you have children?
No, I don't have children, but I'm
Okay.
surrounded by kids all the time.
If you did have children, are you saying there's nothing they could ever achieve that would lead you to feel differently towards them?
No, I think it's a little bit different when you have kids. I don't have kids, so obviously I'm speaking from the position of someone that doesn't have kids. I'm
Now
26.
suddenly feelings can be affected by other people as long as if it's your children.
I don't have kids.
I'm just
So
saying,
I'm only
had
saying,
children,
hold on,
like,
sorry, can I finish my point? I'm
um,
only agreeing to what you're saying based on the fact that I am open enough to understand that there are things I don't know. So right now I feel this way. Yes, I'm saying this because I'm 26. I don't have kids. When I have kids, I might turn around to you and say, hey man, now that I'm a dad, the only thing that creates internal validation in me is my son or my daughter.
okay. So what is it you think it means about a woman who's got a body count of 8? What does it mean about them? Like, what is it about them that makes them now not?
It means she can't be with me. That's all it means.
Yeah, because what though? Because
Because her body count is unacceptable based on what I have decided.
yeah, and you came to that decision that it was unacceptable because
Because I view the fact that we have had 2 major biological revolutions in our timeline, and people don't know how to adopt the responsibility involved around that.
so you're saying that she hasn't been responsible.
Yes,
Okay, so there finally we get there. There's the projection. Okay,
that's
cool.
not a projection. I'll go back to what I was saying again.
It's
We've
not a
had
fact,
2.
it's an assumption.
Pardon?
It's not a fact. It's an assumption you've made.
It is
about
a fact. I'll
No,
tell you
no,
why it's a
no,
fact.
no,
Wait, can I tell you why it's a fact?
No, you can't, because you can't make a claim that an opinion is a fact.
I'm not
right?
making a claim. I'm not making a claim.
Responsibility has got nothing to do with choosing to have schmecks with people.
Understood, but can I please justify what I'm saying so you can understand why I'm saying it's a fact at least?
You can try, but it's
Okay,
not a
okay,
fact.
yeah, okay, I'll try at least if you're listening. Thank you. So we've had 2 major biological revolutions within the last 100 years. The first one being the nuclear bomb, or whichever order you want to put it in. That meant for all nations across the world that we no longer have to engage in war. That created MAD, which is an acronym for mutually assured destruction. Psychologically and physiologically, this had an effect on all of us. This is well documented literature. You can check that. The second biggest biological revolution that we shared in the last 100 years was the creation of contraception. Again, this is well documented literature. The biggest physiological difference that was created after contraception was that no one needed to adopt the responsibilities that were involved in having sex. That both goes for men and women. So what you're saying, and you're saying that this is an assumption, it is not. This is literature. You can research it.
Thank you, T. Oh my goodness. What a way to start the live. Oh gosh. Someone choosing to have schmex has got nothing to do with responsibility. You're not getting away from that. He was far from wrong.
Hi, Kitty42, she, her. Right, this is to chat. Right, I'm saying this once. Okay, so let me be very, very clear. We're not, for those of anyone that was there last night, we're not doing a repeat of that. Right, commenting on how people talk is ableist. Okay, if you don't know why, please go away and educate yourself. Take a few minutes to do so. Don't have the time to do that here. And this is not what the live's about. Okay, commenting on someone's intelligence is also ableist. Once again, we don't do that here. The personal insults have been disgusting. Please stop. Okay? If you keep pushing back on the mods for things like caps, for mods only, things like that, you're getting muted. We do not have the time for this. There's like 5 people sitting in the requests waiting to be educated. If you don't like how this is done, leave the live. Find another live. Okay? This is our space, our rules. If you want to be part of the community, you're more than welcome to. Just respect the mod reminders. Otherwise, get out, leave. Okay? It is an educational space for men to unpack misogyny. You will hear misogynistic rhetoric. We know that's challenging to hear. Trust us, the mods know more than anyone. We are the ones that are frequently harmed in this space. Take a break if you can't be respectful. That's all we're saying. Now, I'm saying this once, I'm not coming up to say this again. If you keep pushing back, you're getting muted, you're getting blocked. It's simple as that. Because it's clear that's not the live for you here. Okay? Right. Anyway, onwards to the, I don't know, 70 million people that sat in the requests.
Quite a lot then.
Yeah, let's, or 69. I don't know, whatever you want. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go on.
Through them. Thanks, Kitty.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Raoul, age and pronouns, please. No. P7. No, Nightmare. If you get Galaxied, you just get dropped. That's what always happens. That's nothing specifically to do with you. Malric, age and pronouns, please.
31 and they, them.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
I don't disagree with it necessarily, but I wanted to talk about body count doesn't matter.
Okay, what do you want to say about it?
So, I personally don't care about body count. I don't think it matters at all. But previous discussions have been had around rules and boundaries, right? So, if a man decides that he doesn't want to engage in a relationship with a woman because she has had multiple sexual partners, multiple partners, is that a rule or a boundary?
The men like to claim that it's a boundary. My point is, how did you come to the conclusion that that needs to be a boundary for you? And when men start to unpack the reasons why, it always roots in misogyny or insecurities. And I'm saying that that's the root cause as to why you don't want to be with a woman with a high body count. It's not the body count that's actually the issue. It's your interpretation of what that body count means.
Okay.
And like the guests before and other people that have come up, they project things that aren't actually factual. This idea of like, I feel a certain way when I hear that. And it's like, okay, so that's your feeling. That's the feeling that you've got there is what needs to be unpacked and explored in understanding why. Because people don't just have boundaries for no reasons. They come to those reasons based on thoughts, based on beliefs, or based on social conditioning or what they've heard from other people.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much for sort of clearing that up for me. That was really all I wanted to ask, because I know that, like I said, the discussions have been had around rules and boundaries, and that's not today's discussion. But
I appreciate it. Thank you, Marek.
thank you. Have a lovely day.
Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.
James, no, we haven't muted anyone. If you're in the chat being disrespectful, then yes, you will get muted. You can say that for a lot of preferences, to be fair. Yeah, sure, you can. The difference is those preferences don't always need to be unpacked and explored as to how you came to that decision, right? If I was to say I prefer apricots to peaches, right, that might be based on the taste. There's a reason why I prefer that, but I'm not then upholding oppression towards peaches for it, you know? Whereas when men have a preference for a woman with a low body count, that's rooted in purity culture, which has always been misogynistic. So upholding that same stance is continuing the oppression, continuing the disproportionate harm. Paul, age and pronouns, please.
Hi, Lex, you alright?
Yep. Are you driving at the moment?
I've got no volume, sorry.
Are you driving at the moment?
Let me get back. I need to get some volume.
All right. Boss, age and pronouns, please. Nimbus, again, it's about the reasons behind preferences. Hello, boss, age and pronouns.
Okay. He, him, age 20.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Okay. Men are not the protectors.
Okay, can you give me some examples of how they are?
All right. So when it boils down to it, every emergency response, majority of the emergency responders, the vast majority of them tend to be male. From the police to the fire force to even our hospitals, we see a lot of doctors. I'm not saying women don't do this, but we see men actively put themselves in these dangerous situations, to help other people, to be protectors, to just as a normal thing in their nature.
So, excuse me, are the situations dangerous or are there people behaving dangerously?
Well, yeah, anyone can behave dangerously.
Right, but when 92% of all crime is committed by men, statistically, if you're calling the police because something's happening, it's likely to be a man that's causing the harm and danger. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but the criminals, like the bad people, the people who commit crimes, they're what, 5% of the population? So if we have 15% being police officers, that's stepping up in public, helping people, and we have 5% doing crime, I think that's a fair balance.
But I don't understand how that removes the fact that you're calling men protectors whilst men are the perpetrators.
Okay, so I'm not removing the fact that they're criminals. What I'm saying is there are people who do wrong from men, there are people who do wrong from women. Obviously, when it comes to physical crime, men tend to do more because they are stronger, so they have the capacity for that. That's why it seems they do more. But we also see these men use that strength, use that bravery, which obviously both genders have, but we also see them. I'm not saying women can't be protected, I'm saying to say men aren't protected is a bit unfair. When we see them going to these dangerous situations, risking their lives in order to help people for almost no reward.
So when you try to use police force and the firefighters, you're looking at less than 0.6% of men in the UK that are in those roles. So I don't think it's fair to say men are protectors on the basis of, like, again, 0.6% of men, when you've got the other 99.5% of men out there that aren't doing those roles.
Okay, so what about the regular men then? They're good friends, they're good support systems.
What are they doing that women aren't doing?
They're both doing the same thing. They can both be called protectors.
Okay, so then it's fair to say men aren't the protectors because that's what it's always been.
You're saying that we should expand it. It shouldn't just be men are the protectors, people can protect. Sure, that's fair. Can I address another point?
Yeah, sure.
When you say men can't hold women accountable, what exactly does that mean?
So what are women collectively doing that men aren't already doing disproportionately that women need to be held accountable for?
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. But does that mean that, I don't know, let's just say if women were in mass doing some form of evil, and maybe there was just a man who had his own personal critiques of that, are you saying that that critique isn't valid, or men as a collective group can't criticize women? Like, could you clarify a bit for me?
I'm saying that, like, for you to be able to say that men can hold women accountable as the oppressors to the oppressed, I'm saying, what is it that women are collectively doing that you wouldn't be able to say, well, men are doing that as well, or men are doing it more? So, for example, someone in the chat said, can women hold men accountable? Yeah, because men uphold misogyny. That misogyny leads to the oppression of women and girls and femme-presenting people. So that's something men need to be accountable for, because that's what upholds that system of inequality. What is it that women are doing that's affecting men on any kind of systemic level? That they're not. If women don't have systemic power, then what's going on? People in the chat want to talk about misandry, a term that was coined 200 years ago when patriarchy has existed for around 14,000 years. So you really want to talk about something, not you, but someone in the chat, want to talk about something that supposedly existed for 200 years as a concept, because it's not real, and then something that's been for 14,000 years? That seems a bit disingenuous, doesn't it? Like, let's oppress women for 14,000 years, but now let's claim to be upset about misandry that's, what, 200 years? What's an example of misandry, you know? Women saying that I, hate men? What does that do to men? You know, it's men say that about women all the time anyway. Men actually show that they hate women through their actions. Women putting words on a screen or just saying it out loud. I'm saying, what is it that women are doing collectively?
Collective, nothing really. But when it comes to misogyny, isn't that just an effect? Isn't that just an effect of capitalism? Like, that's not something the average man on his day. The average man is just trying to make his money and live a good life and love his family. That seems more like something that, okay, the winners of capitalism have set up.
I do apologize, boss, but your microphone, it's really difficult to actually hear what's being said.
Oh, sorry. What I was trying to say is, how is misogyny being upheld by the average man? Because it seems the average man's focus is just hit his goals and help his family.
Yeah, so it's upheld through things like grape culture. It's upheld through the system that we all live under, like just living in general and not taking advantage of, but things like any access to healthcare always benefits men in comparison to women. Social media, all of the ways that men are spoken about leads to men having privileges in life. Men are more likely to be taken seriously. Men are more likely to be listened to. Men are less likely to be interrupted. Like, all of these ways in which we communicate and live our daily lives, that's pretty much how they benefit.
Okay, that's right. Thanks for the time.
Okay, appreciate it, boss. Have a good one. So James, this is another example of how men avoid accountability and deflect because they take things personally. No one is saying that you are blaming men, but it's recognizing what men have created in the past that men continue to uphold today. If men have in the past chosen with their actions to oppress women, and men today are still upholding that with their behaviors, that's where men need to be accountable for. If you want to start trying to hold the oppressed accountable, you're speaking from a place of privilege as a man. Misandry is just Darvo and victim blaming. Doesn't exist. Tell, yeah, I think what it is the hatred of the behavior of men. Because these women that supposedly at times say that they hate all men, etc., a lot of them also have men in their lives that they love. So the behavior of men is what's hated. Age and pronouns, please.
Hello.
Yeah, age and pronouns.
32, he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
I'm gonna go with men can't hold women accountable.
Sure. What would you like to say about it?
I'd like to start with a question. Do you know what percentage of white women voted for Donald Trump in the last election?
I haven't got a clue.
All right, 54%, 53 to 54%. Do you want to know what percentage of black men voted for Donald Trump in the last election?
I'm in the UK. So
24%. So I say I like to hold white women accountable. So that's men holding women accountable. So I like to hold them accountable because they like to come up here and talk about all men do this, all men that, I hate men. But then they don't want to turn around and address the elephant in the room, which is most people in their cohort voted for Donald Trump. So I'd like to hold them accountable about that.
You talk about one country.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm in the UK. I don't really care about what happened in America with that. So that's again not a representation of women, is it?
No, I mean it is a certain demographic of them, yeah.
No, because you're leaving out all other women. So that's not inclusive of all women. That's just a specific group of women that you want to focus on. So that's still not that's not holding women accountable, is it? That's just
well,
holding.
it is holding women accountable. Technically, I am holding women accountable.
No, that's holding a group of women. So you are
Yeah,
not. You are not
I am holding women accountable.
Well, that's not women, is it? Because that's just a group of women. So that's
Yeah,
not
which is women though. They're
No,
women.
I'm talking about women collectively. You're talking about.
Are you talking about women collectively? Because I'm not. I think you said like women, so it can apply
That's
to
what it
any
says.
group of
Men
women.
can't hold women accountable, and you've chosen to choose a group of women. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, and they're still women, and I'm a man holding them accountable.
Sure, if you
Okay.
say so. But
Well, thank you. I'm glad that we agree.
We don't.
I can leave now. Now.
Goodbye. We don't.
No, that's
So this is when men don't really again understand prompts properly, and they think they've got a gotcha, and yeah, that was embarrassing. Dickie, age and pronouns, please. Hello.
That me on?
Yep. Age and pronouns, please.
Oh. Right, I'm gay, man.
Okay, your age and pronouns, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I'm 62.
And your
And
pronouns.
I'm a gay man.
Can I have your pronouns, please?
I've just said he, him, whatever.
Thank you.
All right.
Which one do you disagree with?
Well, I was just looking at them all, and I disagree with what that guy was just saying, because he was saying about he's going on about demographics of one country, right? And I think that men should be, and not really the protectors that they used to be.
They never really used to be either, though. I wouldn't say men have ever really been protectors.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean, but what I'm saying, yeah, but in sort of like the modern age, they used to be. I think.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
But I think gender is getting more equal now. It should be.
I wouldn't say that's what's happening in America.
In America, that's different. But I mean, what I'm saying in the UK, it's different. You know, we tend to be more liberal with things.
Well, there's still a huge amount of disproportionate violence in the UK from men to women, so I don't think things are getting that much more equal. The statistics of that are getting worse.
Okay. Well, I'll think about that then.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No,
I'll leave you to it. I'll keep thinking about.
That's fine. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate it. D, age and pronouns, please.
21, he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Men have never provided for women. They restricted women from providing for themselves.
Sure. What are you going to say about it?
I think that historically, obviously, men were the individuals that were tasked with defending their village, defending their town, defending their kind of women and children who were particularly vulnerable, and the old people. You can see it across a lot of African and Asian diasporas. So on top of their protecting of that, I think they do provide for women, because women, you know, they don't have the physical capabilities to be a full-grown man, if we're being completely honest and completely serious. I do, however, kind of see your point in the Western societies that in the modern societies, men have restricted women's freedoms and stopped them from working and stopped them providing for themselves, etc. But historically, that's not always been the case. It was always men were seen as more disposable than women.
So again, when we talk about those men supposedly protecting, it was again on the basis that men were attacking.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So then if like you had, let's say, those two villages, and one village said, hey, we're going to go and attack all the people over there, would it not be fair to say that those men were not protecting anything? They were actually just trying to start harm and create problems?
The perpetrators?
Well, they were men.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And but we cannot police, you know, people that are not within our kind of cultural sphere, right? It's very difficult for us right now to kind of police the Taliban, and they're abusing women left, right, and center.
This doesn't change the fact that there are men choosing to do this. That's my point, right? That would that's not a demonstration of men being protectors. So picking and choosing where these protectors pop up doesn't change the fact that, again, when, as Kitty said, as we focus on gender, it is men that are upholding these behaviors. And if men are choosing to behave like this, then we can't start calling them protectors, because the only way that men describe themselves as protectors is if there is harm to protect from in the first place. So that's like saying men need other men to be violent so that we can fulfill a role as a protector. That doesn't make sense.
Well, I think that you kind of like live in an idealistic world where there are people that kind of have a base level of morality, and there's people that don't have ill intentions, right? There's always going to be someone that wants to murder you, that wants to attack your women, attack your children, right? And that man may be a woman or a child. So it's always a role and a function that's required for somebody to be able to protect those that are vulnerable. Now,
you're missing the point. It's men that's choosing to behave like that, not women. So again, we're still coming back to, regardless of whether it be idealistic as a world or not, you can't ignore the fact that it exists. So if you do want to talk about reality, that is the reality. Men's behavior is a problem. So if you're going to have men out there that are doing that, you can't collectively call men protectors if there are perpetrators or predators that are men. So you might want to claim that there are some men who will protect their family and maybe loved ones from certain situations. Great. Same as women. So it's not something exclusive to men, but traditionally as a gender role, men have always been labeled protectors and providers. Women have got that label.
I think it's because of physical capabilities, right?
That's
And I don't mean
ridiculous as well. Like,
I don't mean to be like, obviously,
physically capable to cause harm. So the physical capabilities does not mean that you are now a protector.
well, let's be realistic. If a woman was walking down an alleyway and there was a full-grown man at the end of it, it's 10 o'clock. That woman is going to be scared because she doesn't have the physical capabilities to defend herself. Me and you in that same situation would be less afraid than a woman, because we have the ability to kind of incapacitate another full-grown man,
If
right?
a woman was walking through an alley, like you claim, and
Yeah.
she sees a man walking towards her, do you
Yes,
think she's going to be fearful of that situation, not knowing what's going to happen?
I think she would be fearful. Well, I think she's valid to be fearful.
Okay,
I don't
so
know,
why is she fearful? Why would she be fearful walking past a man?
because she doesn't have the physical capabilities to defend herself.
Would she need to if a man wasn't out there causing harm, or does she already have experience and understanding of the world we live in that this is how men behave?
I disagree because let's say
Sorry, hold on. Okay, let's try again, right?
Okay.
Let's go back into history during a time where men didn't harm anyone. Do you think men and women could walk past each other with no one else around and not be in fear of each other because they didn't see each other in that way?
yes.
Okay, so what we can see is from behaviors and how things have changed, men's behavior has led to women being fearful of men. The only reason she might feel fearful in that situation is because of men's behavior, right? So yes, I agree that it's valid she feels that way, of course, but she shouldn't have to feel that way, but she does because of men's behavior. Trying to claim that men are protectors, yet when women walk past men, they don't feel protected in that scenario, makes no sense.
No, I think you're missing the point. I'm saying from a capability perspective, right? As a as a full grown man, me and you,
It's
full,
irrelevant. It's irrelevant having the capability.
it's very relevant. If me and you
No.
as a full listen, let me give you an example. Yeah. Let's say you're walking down the street. A 5'2", 21-year-old girl says to you, pass me my phone. You're gonna say, fuck off, because you know she can't beat you in a fight. If that exact same situation happened and it was a 6'5" big black Congolese dude to pass me your phone, you at that specific point.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Sorry, Staples, I know I've seen you questioning, but I don't know why you wanted to then bring race into it. No. Delumi, age and pronouns, please.
30, he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
It's mainly the men can't hold women accountable part, because based on that, because I know you've described it in a different way lately, you've added more to it. I think everyone should be able to hold anyone accountable for any action based on anything, really. It doesn't have to, like, if you're going based on just normal everyday life, regardless of I think everyone should be able to hold anyone accountable for their actions.
Yeah, so individually, absolutely fine. Collectively, I would say there's nothing. Whereas there are things that men collectively need to be held accountable for.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
But I'm saying when men say women need to take accountability, I'm thinking, well, you must be talking about more than one woman. So what specifically is it that women are doing that they need to be held accountable for? And I'm saying there isn't anything. Like, there's nothing that wouldn't come back where you would say men are doing it more or men have created the issue in the first place.
Oh, no, of course not.
So that's all it is, right? Yeah, individually, if like your friend cheated on someone, you can hold them accountable for cheating, sure. But that's not then a gender-specific thing, right? That's an individual.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And that behavior is not a representation of their gender. Whereas things like misogyny is a characteristic in all men. Men hold on to misogyny and they have a responsibility to unpack that. So women holding men accountable for their misogyny, that's completely fair. I don't think there's anything that men can hold women accountable that men can hold women accountable for that's in any kind of, I suppose, equal stance.
I do agree with you on that. I just wanted to say something. I saw this thing the other day, and I wanted to ask you and to get your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to you are given the choice to completely remove one crime from humanity, but to do so, you have to commit that crime. Once it is committed, no human will ever think of doing that crime again. What would you choose?
Well, I don't know why you would pose that kind of hypothetical.
Because I think I've been in your lives a few times. I've seen, I've watched you for a while, and I just wanted to ask you and see what your thought was.
I don't know. It's a bit of a random one, but I don't know why. Because you're just basically asking, and anyone you ask that is just basically asking someone to confess to something that they would do for the sake.
Oh no! It's not that at all. It's you get to remove this thing from the consciousness of humanity itself. So it could be something like violence against women. It could be something like murder or anything. Like
I agree with some people in the chat. I'd say like maybe steal a penny sweep.
Okay. Okay.
Would that mean no one can ever steal again?
Yeah, because that would count as theft, which means that the concept of theft would disappear from humanity.
Okay. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Right, thanks, man.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
Balance. Welcome back. Age and pronouns, please.
Good morning. 36 he, him.
Tom today.
I had a question for you. If you would want to do like a quick live scenario therapy session on an issue I'm having that's regarding insecurity, violence from men, has to do with all of this. I promise. And if you don't want to,
whenever you come up, I know you always give these examples of things you want to deep dive, but they always sound more appropriate for DMs, not the live.
This one's not that bad. It's not that bad. That's why I'm like, it's not. You should go pay a therapist. No, maybe I phrased that really wrong, but it was just like it's fine. No worries. Cheers.
Balance, send me a DM.
All right.
You know I'll respond. All right. Take care, buddy. Right, so for anyone in the chat who is unaware, the lives are now getting uploaded to my channel on the other platform. So there are 4 lives that have already been uploaded now. This one obviously will be uploaded later. So please make sure you are following. Kitty has put, and Ida has put the link in the chat right now. So if you search Lex_therapy1 on the other platform, you can catch up on all of the lives that you might be missing out on. We aim to do 2 lives a day, so there will be one this evening at 7:30 p.m. UK time in about 5 hours time. We're still live for a little bit, but it's just to let you know that if you wanted to catch up on any of them, obviously if you could drop a follow, that'd be fantastic, just because that helps again boost the algo. Lindy, thank you so much for that. If anyone else wants to and could do that, that'd be amazing. I think we're on like 62 at the moment. So, you know, if we could just slowly start to increase that, that'd be great. I know it takes time, but yeah. Is it 69 now, Lindy? Hooray! Got another 8 out of nowhere. Love that. So yeah, if anyone could, that would be incredible. Underrated, age and pronouns, please.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Age and pronouns, please.
Yeah, 30, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Yeah, first of all, yeah, they muted me in the chat. I don't know why.
Well, they've probably got their reasons. They don't do it for no reason.
I literally said nothing to nobody.
Okay, well, you're up here
And
now. Talk to me. What's bothering you?
man, I've been on this thing before. I disagreed with you on a couple of things. So I just wanted to ask you why you think men are no protectors.
Because there wouldn't be an example of something you can give me where it's not dependent on men being violent in the first place. And I would not then claim for men to be protectors on the basis that they are only fulfilling that role based on men harming. You would have to then call men the predators as well. And if you're calling men predators or perpetrators and also calling men protectors, you can't really generalize with any of those statements. So therefore we need to remove this label that men have been benefited without privilege of being called protectors.
So that means you're in disagreement with men are no protectors, because that's literally generalizing.
Well, yeah,
Like you literally just mentioned.
I would love to hear some examples of how men are protecting on a daily basis.
What do you mean, like as in like what we do on a daily basis? Sometimes you don't need to do anything. Sometimes just being there is you protecting, just your presence.
So then we can call women protectors as well, or as equally then, yeah?
They're not capable of the same amount of violence that we're capable of.
Is that something to brag about?
No, it's just the way we were biologically made. This is not bragging about anything.
That's bioessentialism. There's plenty of women out there that could be, if they wanted to, in a variety of ways. It doesn't always have to be with physical force. So
Yeah, but when it comes to physical force, then you can.
why are we only focusing on physical force? Is that the only way you can cause harm to someone?
No, that's the first. We're talking about protecting somebody, not harming.
Well, if you're protecting someone, then that's because you're preventing that harm, aren't you? So that's what you protect from, harm.
Okay, so example, if I walk around with my wife and my kid, and a man just slap my woman's back, I should just be watching him.
Again, so you've just given an example of a man causing harm.
Exactly. So there is people that cause harm, but there is men that protects.
So how did you protect her if he hit your partner?
Because I can now react. I can now step. If he
Doesn't
tries to do
matter.
something.
It doesn't matter. The harm was already caused.
Yeah, I'm not fucking Superman. I can't predict what they're gonna do.
Right. So then you recognize you're not a protector, then are you? Because you didn't obviously.
You can protect if something happened.
But then you are reacting to something.
Of course, I'm reacting to somebody attacking.
Right. So again, you didn't prevent the harm. You're just reacting to prevent any future harm, but the harm was still caused.
That's like saying doctors don't look after people because they only operate with when somebody need a surgery or something. It makes no sense. Of course, my presence alone without me,
I'm not calling
my
them
presence
anything
alone without me doing anything
But I'm not
is
calling
already.
surgeons, hold on, I'm not calling surgeons anything else other than surgeons, same as doctors. I'm not calling doctors anything other than doctors, but men are calling themselves protectors. So they're not doing that.
Yeah, so let me give you an example. Like if I don't get, unless like you said, right, it can be a reaction. This is an example of reaction because somebody will have to cause some harm or some sort of abuse for me to react and for me to be able to then protect somebody. But if I've watched a lot of documentaries, for example, on people that
Can you give me an example, please, of how men are protecting daily? I'm still waiting.
like I said, just your presence alone. If say for example there's like some predators or something, I watched a documentary where they said they target women that don't have a man next to them.
Your presence alone is not protection.
It is.
It isn't. You just gave an example of someone doing something.
If I'm a celebrity, if celebrities walk around with security, right, they're not punching people up
You just gave an example.
on everyday basis, but they're there in case something was to happen to them. That's security.
You just gave an example of you walking around with your wife and someone hitting her. So clearly you weren't much of a protector or a decoy because it's
If
still.
you go around, okay, so you go around with security. Why? Because the security is not there to push out people and punch out people, but it's there in case something was to act upon, maybe approaching you, or maybe if you're a celebrity or any person that requires security, right? They're there to act in case something happened. They're not there to.
I'm going to bring Kitty up to join the conversation in a second, but I'll ask again. Can you give me examples of how men?
I just gave you like 3 examples.
Sorry, you gave me 2. You didn't give me 20.
The examples with the celebrity, with the security.
Again, celebrities is not men, right? So I'm saying the everyday man, men collectively, how are men protecting daily? You then went and said security guards, and it's like, sorry, where are all the security guards protecting every individual person in the world where we're walking together? It just doesn't exist.
Not everybody can afford a security. Not everybody is a celebrity.
So therefore, there aren't men protecting daily. That's the
They cannot be men, right? That
tiniest
prevent other men from doing any harm.
Okay.
You understand that?
So then we recognize men aren't the protectors then.
You just said that we cannot generalize. So the same way we can't say men are not protected, we can't say. So if a man was to happen to be a predator, we can't say, oh, men are predator because a man is a predator.
Then we
Same
can't
way
say
that
men are protectors.
you for example, right?
Wait, you just proved my point. You didn't even see it.
You
If we
can't
say
generalize.
men
That's
are-
my
If we
point.
can't say men are predators, then we can't.
Nah.
Exactly. So we can't generalize that men are protectors.
Yeah, same way that you can't generalize saying that they're not.
Wait, so you're agreeing with me, and you're up here trying to disagree. That doesn't make sense.
No,
I
what I'm
said
trying
men
to
are
say
not
to you
protectors, and
is
you
that we
said-
can't generalize in both cases, whether you agree or disagree. So not
Yeah,
every man is a protector, not every
Yeah,
man is a
so
team.
you agree with me. You agree with me then that you can't generalize, so you can't say men are protectors.
Yes, 100%.
So then what are you disagreeing with?
But on that logic, then you can't say that men are not protectors neither. They're not the protectors and they're not the non-protectors. So they're doing what's required at all time.
Okay,
You know
one
what I
last
mean?
question before I bring Kitty in. So what are they then? If you can't call them protectors, what are they?
We're just men and we're all different. So there's part of the men that do that and part of men that don't.
Thank you. Thank you. So there we go. So men are not protected.
But don't attack men like we all don't
Where do I
protect.
attack men? Don't
Because
get
he says
defensive.
men are
Don't
not
be,
protectors.
hold on. Don't get
Your
defensive.
prompt is either rage bait or is
Stop interrupting and over talking continuously. Don't get defensive over something that I didn't attack with. Yeah, because that's just you being triggered. Kitty, over to you, please.
I don't even know where to start on this one. Kitty 42, she, her. Guest, are you a celebrity?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, you're the guest up on the panel. Are you a celebrity?
I don't need to disclose that.
Hmm.
I'm not a celebrity.
Oh, you're not. Oh,
But
fantastic.
I'll let
Thank
you know just for the sake of letting you know, but I don't know why you're asking me if I'm a celebrity. It was just an example.
Because, well, yeah, it was a very interesting example that you were getting quite hung up upon. So I just thought it was worth clarifying. Also, why do you seem to think all forms of protection are protecting regarding violence?
Because it was just the example that I gave.
Is there other ways to protect people that don't involve violence?
I mean, you can say you could protect somebody, maybe your partner, maybe your family in a spiritual way, if you believe in that sense. You could protect them in an emotional way. You can protect them, in a multitude of ways, I think.
Can you explain to me how, well, statistically, what we do know is we are in a global femicide, and men are the ones causing disproportionate harm in significant levels to women, femme-presenting people, and girls. So if men are causing the harm, how can simultaneously they be also the protectors?
Because there is men and men. So there is men that are doing harm, and there is also men that are protecting. So the two things exist.
But there's such high levels of
So is
harm
your
towards women. Please don't interrupt me. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you were done because you speak very slowly, but I will be listening now.
Oh, you're only listening now? You're not listening previously?
No, I thought you was done with your point, so I muted I was speaking, but since you're not done, I will just let you land.
That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. So once again, if men are causing disproportionate levels of harm in high numbers, where are the men protecting if they're the ones causing the harm? They can't be both.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, can you say that last question again?
So this is the third time I'm going to say it again, okay? Because I'm not going to keep repeating this when we have other people waiting, okay? So we're not going to time waste any further. If men are causing disproportionate levels of harm towards women and children and femme-presenting people in very high numbers, how can they be also protecting? Where are they protecting if they're the ones causing the harm?
I don't know what numbers you're referring to, so I can't really give you an answer for that.
Okay, well, I would suggest that you go research the fact there's a global femicide on and the disproportionate levels of harm that's occurring towards women
the prompt said,
and
let's
people and
educate
girls.
men.
Sorry, yeah, but there's within reason. We also encourage independent learning and critical thinking as well here. That's also one of the things we encourage.
Okay, so it's let's educate men with critical thinking, and I've done research before joining this panel.
No, it's let's educate men, and then if there's further information that you can go and find out for yourself, we can give you the resources for that.
That's fine, but I just said I didn't know the numbers, and I could have just been not genuine and just speak about it, but I just said honestly that I don't know the numbers that she's referring to. And the first thing she did is saying that I should go and do research.
Sorry, am I not here up on the panel? Do I not exist? Why am I getting spoken over as if I'm not here? Just to be very clear, I encouraged you to go away and do some research. Now, I have said to you now 4 times there's disproportionate levels of harm towards women, femme-presenting people and children. Men are the ones doing it. Where are they protecting? Even if you don't know the stats, the numbers.
All right.
All right. Okay. So can you tell me how? How are they protecting?
I can tell you how I'm protecting. I can't tell you. I
So no,
can't
no,
speak
no.
for all
Men
men.
collectively. I'm not interested about anecdotes or what you're doing personally. Where
Yeah,
collectively are men protecting?
me and the men that I know in my life, I can't speak for every man in the world because there's men doing harm every day, like you mentioned. You even said there's a majority of them. So, yeah, I can't speak for all men. I can only speak for me and who I know, who I represent.
So do you think there's other forms of protection then? We'll revisit that question that doesn't involve violence because you've only spoken about violence and celebrities so far in terms
Not
of
really.
protection.
Not really. The guy, what is it called? Lex. Yeah, he
Mhm.
asked me, and I told him that you can be that emotionally protecting, you can be spiritually protecting. If you know, everybody is a believer, whatever, but there's prayers that people use. There's different methods that people use and different form of protection. So it's not only physical. The physical is only a reactionary. So if harm was to come, then I can, protect. Uh, whoever I care to protect, It could be a friend, it could be a partner, it could be a child, it could be a family member. And if anything, I think it's very important to actually teach kids since young age how to self-defend because that's the number one thing I believe that guides men to actually turn violence in one shape, in one form or another, is because they're not in control of their emotion. So things like sport, like boxing, or physical activity that you can do as a young age, they teach you how to regulate your emotions, They teach you discipline. And this kind of stuff is good because they build confidence. And they teach you that you're only required to use harm as a self-defense tool, not as a way to attack or abuse people.
I think we could name a lot of sports individuals who have upheld significant forms of harm.
No, of course. Same way that there's a lot of boxers that have done harm. There's a lot of footballers that have done harm. That's proving the point that, we cannot generalize in a sense that, all men are abusive or all men are protectors. No, there's men and men. Same way there's women that protect their kids and their family and they whoever they want to protect. And there's women that don't. And there's women that do harms. So it goes both ways.
Can I just
I don't know the
clarify where it
numbers, but
says
it
all
goes both
men?
ways.
Sorry to interrupt, but can I just clarify where it says all men on here
Say that again.
regarding protection?
Say that again. Sorry.
It says men are not protectors, but you said a moment ago we can't generalize and say all men. We've not said that here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying not to generalization. So it's like saying green. I don't know. I can't come up with an example now, but it's just not generalization. So I'm agreeing with not generalizing, but what I'm debating and arguing is that it goes both ways. So if anything, I'm all for knowing how to manage your emotions and stuff like that. That's why I think sports are a good thing, and I think it's important to, instead of being a war between men and women in that kind of dynamic, I think is more productive to actually teach young children, young male, young female, young kids in general, how to deal with emotions, how to deal with the fact that that violence can come into place, but how do you react, how do you self-defense, how to deal with these kind of scenarios, so that when they're adult, there is less likelihood of having, the issues that we have, whether it's men or women, but nobody should be harming nobody.
Now, there's one thing there I will agree with: education. Education is key. You mentioned about teaching young people about emotions and regulating those emotions. That is key. That is preventative. That would protect a huge number of people, especially women, femme-presenting people, and children, if they're taught from a young age via education.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm glad we can agree on that one, because I think what you learn as a kid is what shapes you. So none of these cases that we see later on of people being either abusive or something come from nowhere. There's always some sort of trauma, some unresolved trauma they might have. So it's important, at young age, to approach and to tackle it. So While in an ideal world, you wouldn't want any violence at all. In a realistic world where we live, it is a factor. You know, violence is a factor for young kids, even at school. It could be a bully in high school, and what can later on be a bully at your workplace. You know, so that's why I think I'm more towards, you know, towards like, yeah, like, you know, just education first, and that's the best way to approach it, I think.
Okay, should we maybe leave it on that with
Yeah.
education point? Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
You guys can have somebody else anyways, because I've been here enough, and that was my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Peace.
Thanks for coming up.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Kitty, as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Hello, Karen. Hello, those coming in. Spoon, age, and pronouns, please. No? Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right, it is 20 to 3, so we will come to a close in a few minutes. As mentioned earlier, you can see on my story that I've uploaded yesterday evening's live. You can catch up on all of the lives on that channel. Please make sure you are following if possible, just to kind of push out the algorithm and share the love on all that. Excuse me. We will be live again at 7:30 p.m. UK time tonight, so in about 5 hours. We are just going to finish off after quite a heavy live for some, I would say, as well. Finish off with just a couple of battles, and then we will come to a close. Appreciate all of you for supporting, moderators especially, and Kitty for coming up earlier as well. There's been a lot. It's been a lot.